everyone, it's Vicki from Minerva. We have something really exciting to share with you today. Today at Minerva we are launching a brand new base cloth in our Minerva Exclusive collection of fabrics. So this is a brand new base cloth with some prints that you know and love and some newer ones in there as well. And it is just the most gorgeous fabric ever, perfect for this time of year, perfect for party season, or anybody that's just looking for something a little bit special. So the fabric base cloth we are launching is this absolutely glorious crush velvet fabric. How stunning is this? So I've got a piece of all the prints that we're launching to share with you. So we've got 15 designs that we're launching in this base cloth. I've got notes on all the details to tell you about the fabric so you can find out everything you need to know, and I've got a selection of pattern pics to give you some ideas on what you can make in this fabric as well. So to start off, I mean, the velvet is just, it's so special is this fabric. I love every base cloth that we launch, but there is just something extra special and magical about this base cloth. Hopefully as I hold it up to the camera there and you can see it moving under the lights, you'll see just how it catches the light. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this fabric is a knit fabric, so it's a knit velvet, not a woven velvet, and that means that it has some stretch. So across the width of the fabric we have 60% stretch, and down the length of the fabric we have 15% stretch. So there's stretch both ways, but a lot more stretch across the width. It's made from a blend of 92% polyester and 8% elastane. So that amount of elastane in there means that it has really good recovery, which means that when you stretch it, it just pings back into shape, as you can see there. Just pings back, which is great for sewing lots of different styles of garment. Now this is actually, it's a crush velvet that we've launched. Now it is quite a subtle crush velvet, and what that means is that the pile on the velvet, so velvet, if you don't know, it's made by cutting the loops on the fabric so that it gives the fabric this sort of like, well, the velvety feel that you get with velvet. And that pile, that velvety feel, is actually pressed in slightly different directions across the surface, which give it this sort of like crushed finish. And we decided to go with a crush velvet because it just added an extra something to this fabric, and it really, I mean, you can see how it catches the light there. It's absolutely stunning, but at the same time, you know, it's not super shiny, and it's not, you know, it's not a super crush pile velvet. So we think it's definitely a fabric that you can wear, of course, for special occasions, but why not, you know, bring this into your everyday wardrobe as well for something extra special. The other thing to note with this fabric is it does have fabulous drape. Now knit velvets do commonly have drape. If you're working with a velvet that's a woven velvet, depending on the fibre content, sometimes they can be quite structured, but this fabric is definitely very drapey. So you can see there when I hold that up, hopefully, you know, just how much fluidity and movement there is there. Absolutely fabulous. The other thing that makes this fabric really special is its weight. So we're talking, it's 250 grams per square metre, and that just puts it into our medium to heavyweight category on the website. So, you know, it's definitely not transparent in any of the prints, even the lighter coloured ones. Yeah, and it just has, you know, that weight with that drape, it just gives it a really sort of expensive feel and luxurious quality to it, and means it's going to be, you know, great for sewing so many different styles of garment. So the next thing that I wanted to mention, in terms of how easy this fabric is to sew. Now obviously velvet is not, you know, it's not going to be as easy as a viscose challis or a cotton lawn or a cotton poplin or anything like that. It is definitely a trickier fabric to sew. However, because this is a knit velvet, we don't think it's actually as difficult as some of the velvets that, you know, you can get. So you do want to take notice of the direction of the pile when you're cutting your pattern pieces out. So you want to make sure that all your pattern pieces are running in the same direction, because if you hold the fabric up this way or you hold it up the opposite way, it does catch the light slightly differently. Now the general rule of thumb is that you have it so that the softer side brushes down your body, But, you know, if you prefer it the other way around, so that the softer side brushes up against you, you can choose whichever way you want to, you know, you want to use the fabric. The only thing that's important is just that you make sure that, you know, you place all your pattern pieces in the same way, whichever way you choose to do it. We would recommend sewing this fabric with a ballpoint needle, with it being a knit fabric. You do need to take a little bit of extra care when pressing it, so I definitely recommend a pressing cloth and ironing from the reverse, and definitely just doing a test sample with the heat of the iron. But I mean, I've sewn this fabric, of course, when we're testing it and everything, and it is, you know, it is relatively easy care. And in terms of washing, you can certainly wash this in your machine and tumble dry. You know, we would recommend a 30-degree wash and air dry flat, but you know, we have tested it higher than that, and it, you know, it absolutely stands up to that kind of washing. A walking foot can also be helpful when you're sewing with velvet, because something that can be tricky with velvet is when you have two layers together and you're sewing a seam, that they can travel a little bit differently under the feed with the feed dogs and the presser foot. So if you have a walking foot on your machine, it just means that it pulls the layers through evenly. Or of course you could sew it on an overlocker as well if you have that option. In terms of how you would sew with it being a knit stretchy fabric, so you need something that's going to, you know, you need some sort of stitch that's going to be able to stretch with the fabric. So you have a few different options. You could use Mariflex thread, which is a stretchy thread, and just sew with a straight stitch on your ordinary sewing machine. That will work brilliantly. You could, if you don't have Mariflex thread and you only have regular threading, then you could use a zigzag stitch, a lightning stitch, or a triple stretch stitch. Or of course you could use an overlocker as well. So you've loads of different options in ways to sew with this fabric. Yeah, and that's all the tips really. I mean, if anybody does have any tips for sewing with knit velvets, do share them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. But they're the main tips that we've got for this fabric. And yeah, if you've sewn with knit stretchy fabrics before, I think you'll be absolutely fine with this fabric. Like I say, just as long as you cut in the same direction and making sure you treat it as a knit fabric, and so that your stitches have some way of stretching, you'll be absolutely fine. So the width of this fabric is 145 centimetres or 58 inches wide. So it's a really good width for the price point. So I think it makes it really good value for money. And I just wanted to mention as well, it is printed here in the UK and it's Ecotex certified as well. So yeah, it's not coming very far. It's not travelling very far to our warehouse here at Minerva HQ. And yeah, the printers just print fabrics to such a high standard. We've worked with them before for our sweater knits, and yeah, they just do some amazing base cloths, and yeah, we just absolutely fell in love with this velvet. When we first saw the sample and how our fab prints could look on it, we just fell in love and knew we had to add it to the collection. So, shall we have a look through all the prints first? Like I say, I've got some patterns coming up, but in terms, I suppose first actually, in terms of general styles of things you could make, so you can absolutely make tops and tunics with this. You could make dresses and skirts, jumpsuits, wide leg trousers even, culottes would be lovely. I think it would be fabulous as like a loose sort of oversized robe, and then even lighter weight jackets as well. Obviously because it has the drape, you know, it's not going to make a structured jacket, but a softer fitted, looser sort of drapey style jacket would be fabulous in it. So there really are so many different things you can make, but I'll come to patterns at the end. So let's have a look through the 15 fabrics. Now we've gone through all the fabric details. So the first one, like I say, is this gorgeous design. This is our Boudoir Bouquet print from the Minerva Exclusive collection, one of our best-selling all-time prints, and I think it's absolutely made to be on velvet is this base cloth. It's just absolutely stunning. This like deep tealy coloured, petrol-y sort of coloured background with like sort of deep cerise pink come magenta sort of flowers on there. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the next fabric we've got, so this is a relatively new print, and this one is called Seedling Shimmer. And how beautiful is it? This is definitely one of our, well, probably our smallest scale print in the range, and it has like a sort of rich, deep denim-y blue coloured background, and then all these scattered what look to me like petals all over the surface in sort of blues, purples, coppery browns, and like a vanilla colour on there. Absolutely beautiful. Next up we have, this is one of our iconic prints in the Minerva Exclusive range, and this one is Animal Glow, and look how amazing that looks on the velvet. Isn't that just, it just looks incredible. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, that print. Definitely a show-stopping wow kind of print, that one. It just looks amazing on velvet. Now for something a little bit more toned down, this is Rose Reverie, and this one, to me this almost has like a little bit of like a gothic feel to it, which I just think is just so sort of sophisticated and beautiful, and hopefully you can see that, you know, catching on screen there. It has like these roses printed all over the surface in this like very deep tealy colour, and then like a graphite grey as well. So it's very subtle on colour, and you can just sort of pick up there the, you know, the print coming through. Really quite subtle, that one, but really, really beautiful. Then we have Midsummer Magic. Now I've actually sewn with this on the viscose chalet base cloth, and I love it. But on velvet, oh, it's so different on velvet actually. The velvets, I do think the darker colours, they kind of sort of, it tones them down, and the brighter colours, it really makes them pop. So I think with this base cloth, again, the background is quite rich and deep, but those gorgeous flowers on it really stand out and pop against that background. I think it's beautiful. Next up we have Tempting Treasures. So this is definitely quite a large scale print. So I think this would suit like a maxi dress or a jumpsuit or a long robe, something like that, you know, to really show off the scale of the print. And oh, isn't that just amazing on velvet? Oh, I just think that's absolutely gorgeous. This is one of those prints that the more you look at it, the more you see into it. And it's just got the most sort of like random collection of things in the print. So we've got turtles, jewels, leaves, diamante brooches, apples and fruits, flowers, flamingos, there's sort of like splashes of water, foliage, so many different things in the print, and oh, it's just beautiful. Next up we have Peacock Nebula. So this is a peacock feather print in beautiful shades of blues, purples and turquoises. Now you can see how a lighter print looks there on the velvet. It does definitely has a different look to it, and I mean, just look how that drapes and folds and how it catches the light. Oh, it's absolutely stunning. Such beautiful colours in that one. Next up we have, so this one is Botanic Bliss, and this one is really special actually. I'm really excited to share this one with you. So this one is actually a border print design, which if I hold that out there, now I'm holding it the other way on this one with it being a border print. So here along the top is actually one of the selvage edges. So if I hold it up like this, you can see I'm going through the whole width of the fabric here. And can you see how it gets sort of more and more intense with print as we get to the bottom there, which is the other selvage. So if I hold that back down again, you'll be able to see how it sort of fades up to this at the top. It's just absolutely, oh, stand back a little bit, absolutely stunning. Oh, and again, I think like a jumpsuit or a maxi dress or a robe, something that's going to show off the full length, well, the full width of this fabric. Oh, that would just be amazing. Next up we have Floral Resort. Now this is another dark floral. So this one has, yeah, it's black in the background and then a scattering of all these different coloured flowers. Another like more smaller scale, definitely more sort of subtle print, this one, but still got lots of gorgeous colours in there. And yeah, I just think that's I think that suits so many different people. I think that's lovely. Next up we have, this one's quite graphic, quite bold. So this one is called Painter's Patchwork. Oh, and how beautiful is that? I think that's absolutely gorgeous. all those like, well, literally like patches, so squares and triangles and all those shapes that make up this sort of like a geometric gridded kind of pattern. And the texture, well, the depth and dimension of the colours in this is gorgeous. When you look at the different squares and the different shapes, it looks like the colour has sort of like been scribbled on by hand. So you can see layers of colours in each of those squares. Oh, it's just beautiful. Next up we have, so this is Electric Blooms. And this one is another one that's like a lighter, brighter colour palette. So you can see this one, it's a gorgeous floral design. And it's made up of pink and red shades with like a hint of lilac-y purple in there as well. And look how that looks on the velvet. It's just absolutely stunning. Really, really, the colours are so intense. It looks fabulous. Then we have Crystal Chrysanthemums. Oh, how gorgeous is this? So this is definitely another dark floral, but it's definitely quite an abstract floral. To me, it almost looks like scattered petals that are scattered in such a way that when you stand back from it and look at it from a distance, you see more of a floral print than what you do when you look up close. It's a really unusual print, and the colours are just so rich and sophisticated, I think, and yeah, just absolutely beautiful. Next up we have, so this is another bestseller. I love the colour palette in this one. Anything with turquoises always stands out to me. And this one is called Bubble Shawl. Oh, how gorgeous is that? So this is a very abstract, all over kind of random print. The background colour is black, and then it has all these shades of turquoise with hints of blues and purples in there. Absolutely stunning. Again, just look how it catches the light. Absolutely gorgeous. The next one we have now, this is another larger scale print. So this one is called Tranquil Moment. And how gorgeous is that? This is one of my favourite prints. Again, I think something like a maxi dress or a jumpsuit or a robe, something to really show off this print and not interrupt it too much, will be absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I think that's amazing. And this one is black in the background, and then the colours in it are like shades of gold or taupe, different shades of like soft minty or sagey greens, and then hints of the cream in there as well, which the cream looks beautiful printed on the velvet. It really shows up like the crushed texture in there. Absolutely stunning. And then the last prints, like I said, we have 15 prints in this collection, and the last one is this one here on the mannequin, which I will just get off to show you. And this is one I've actually made a dress in, and I love it. So this one is Celestial Motion, and we could not release a range of velvet without printing this design on it. I think it's absolutely made for velvet. It's just gorgeous, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? All these like moons and sort of like planet designs on there. It just, in all those shades of purple and tealy sort of jadey green and gold. Absolutely stunning. Love that one. And that really looks magical on the velvet. So let's have a quick look at patterns. So I've got 10 different patterns to share with you here for ideas on what you could make. But you know, there's so much you could make with these fabrics. So you know, like I said, tops and tunics, dresses, skirts, jumpsuits, wide leg trousers, culottes. You could make a robe, a lighter sort of softer jacket. Loads and loads of things you could make. So first up, I could not mention this pattern in this video. So especially for the prints, like Tranquil Moment, for example, the larger scale ones that really want something that's going to showcase the print, I think the named kilo wrap dress and jumpsuits by named patterns would be absolutely fabulous. It's the full length to be able to show off a glorious print without too much interruption, but it's got that tie detail at the waist that'll just add a bit of extra something. Suits so many people that have made this. It just looks fabulous on. It seems to suit everybody, and yeah, I just think that will be absolutely gorgeous in the velvet. So next up we have another dress. So this is New Look 6301, and this is a wrap dress that has a V neckline. It has a tie detail around the waist, And then you have different sleeve and different skirt options. So you have sleeveless, short sleeve or 3/4 length sleeve. And then for the skirt, you have something that's more like straight and fitted, or a more flared out skirt as well. So if you like the idea of like a wrap effect dress, definitely take a look at that pattern, because you've so many options in there. And again, I think it just works so beautifully in the velvet. Next up we have another new look pattern. This is a top pattern, and this is number 6577, and it actually shows it made in a crushed velvet on the envelope there. But yeah, this is a beautiful, quite simple top, but it has this gorgeous like cowl neckline that I just think, you know, like when I hold up the velvet, when I hold it up in that sort of shape, you know, you can see how it will just cowl beautifully, and it will really sort of accentuate the velvet texture, and it will just drape really nicely. So yeah, I think that pattern would be gorgeous. And then you have different sleeve and different length options, so it can be more of like a tunic length or a shorter top. And then you've got longer sleeves, like shorter flutter sleeves, which are my favourite, or sleeveless as well. Another top, and this is Burda pattern 6838, and this is like a wrap over style which creates a V neckline, and around that V it almost has sort of like folds that come into that V neckline, which again I think will work really well with the drape of this knit. You have two different length options, and then it's a longer sleeve, but I mean you could make that shorter if you wanted to. So yeah, I think that would work really well in the velvet. Then we have, next we have the Elysium bodysuit from Friday Pattern Company. Now this is an easy to sew pattern, fantastic size range, and if you're looking for a bodysuit, I think this is a really lovely option. So it has a really deep sort of, like a scoop neckline. It has a seam at the waist that that just goes under the bust line rather, and then long sleeves. It's just really, really lovely. Quite a simple pattern, but I think it would really showcase the velvets beautifully. Next up we have another dress pattern, and this is McCall's 7122. So this, I love this pattern. So it has a round neckline with a band detailed finish. It has raglan sleeves, and you have the option for like little short cap sleeves or 3/4 or full length sleeves. And then you have different length options as well. So, excuse me, you actually have 4 different views in the pattern, 3 of which are, well, the shortest one is a tunic length, which I must admit I'm really tempted to make the tunic in this, because I think I could just wear that, I'd get loads and loads of wear out of it. But B and C are longer length, which makes them into a dress. And then you also get a leggings pattern on this as well, which there'd be nothing stopping you making leggings in the velvet as well. Yeah, I didn't mention that before, but yeah, there'd be nothing stopping you. Probably not going to be typical leggings, but yeah, it would certainly have enough stretch in there. The other great thing with this pattern is it's one of the Learn to Sew patterns series from McCall's, and it's literally level 1, so it's a really nice easy pattern is this. It's gonna be nice and quick to sew, and if you are a beginner to sewing or a beginner to knits, that will be a good one to start with. Next up we have a pattern from Cashmerette, and this is the Appleton dress. So if you haven't come across Cashmerette before, they're designed for curves. So you actually have cup sizes C to H in their patterns. So if you do have a fuller bust, then they are great patterns to help you achieve a good fit around your curves. And this pattern, so it comes with different options. So it's a V neckline wrap over dress. A classic wrap dress really, and it has a crossover front, it's got a built-in waist tie and a deep V-neck, and the neckband, interestingly, the construction is designed to prevent gaping across your bust. So if that always does put you off with a V-neck sort of wrap dress, then this could be a really good pattern to try. And you have different sleeve options in there as well, a shorter length and a longer length sleeve, and a mid-length sleeve even as well. So loads of different options in that one. Next up we have a dress from Wardrobe by Me. So this is the Mirror dress. Now this one, so you actually have, well, a top version again, and then 3 different length dresses. So you can, you know, literally make it just as a top, or you've all different lengths that you can choose from. And this is a wrap over dress, and what I thought was really lovely about this one is that at the waist, how it draws in, it has little folds that come from the stitch at the waistline, the seam at the waistline, and I think those would hang and fold really beautiful in the velvet. And the shape of the skirt is, you know, just sort of like an A-line shape, so it's just going to skim over your hips. Yeah, I think that's a really quite simple but lovely dress pattern. Next up we have McCall's 7910, and this is a fabulous jumpsuit. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you've a few different options. So we've 4 different views on this pattern, all of which are designed for stretch knits. So we have options with a very, very deep low plunging V neckline, which is fabulous, but if you're not comfortable wearing that, then there are options for a higher neckline, or one that has like a one shoulder strap, so it's like sort of asymmetrical, and then there's different leg options as well, so you can have like a tapered leg or a slightly wider fit leg, or a wider fit leg that has slits up the side. And the idea is with this pattern that you can literally just choose the bodice and choose the legs that you want to find your perfect jumpsuit. So yeah, there's probably actually more than 4, well, there is more than 4 options in there overall. So yeah, really, really fabulous jumpsuit if you're looking for an option for this fabric. And then the last pattern I've got is the Aster dress. This is another one from Wardrobe by Me, and with this pattern you've loads of different options again. So with this pattern it has a fitted bodice and a slightly flared four-gore skirt, which you can add patch pockets onto as well. You can make the dress with either a boat neckline or a turtle neckline. So I love that you've got both those options. I think the turtleneck maybe makes it a little bit more dressed down, I think. With the boat neckline, it's very sort of elegant and maybe a little bit more dressed up. And then you've also got 4 different sleeve lengths, including a sleeveless option. So between all those different sort of options you've got in the pattern, I mean, there's so many combinations and therefore dresses that you could make. So, you know, whatever sort of style you're looking for, you know, you'll be able to pick the bits that you want to sew and make your perfect dress with that pattern. So yeah, I think that one's really lovely. So those are my top 10 pattern picks, but there are so many more on the website that you could choose to make. You basically want a pattern that's designed for a knit fabric that has some drape. So, you know, like I said before, it's definitely got some beautiful drape as this fabric. So you don't want anything that requires a fabric with lots of structure. But yeah, there's so many things you could make. And Jo from Minerva will be coming later this week as well with another video sharing the fabrics with you and all her pattern suggestions as well. So if there's nothing that's, you know, quite grab you from my picks, do take a look at Jo's video later this week and she'll have lots more pattern options for you in there as well. So yeah, hopefully between us we can give you loads of ideas on what you can sew. So that's everything I had to share with you today. I really hope you love this new base cloth just as much as we do. We are so excited about it. Everyone here at Minerva has made something in it now, and yeah, we just really hope that you guys love it as much as we do. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you love the fabric. Let me know which your favourite print is. There's quite a selection to choose from there with 15 designs, and I think, you know, there's quite a lot of variety in them. So yeah, I'd love to know which was your favourite, and let me know, you know, what pattern, what style of garment or what pattern would you make in this. I'd love to hear from you. So as always, everything I've mentioned in the video, the fabrics and the patterns, I will tag below the video, so you can, you know, click on those links on Minerva and you know, find out all the pricing details, the sizing details on the patterns. You can see what other people in the Minerva community have been making as well, because that's always really inspiring, isn't it? And don't forget, of course, you know, to create a free profile with us and share your makes. You know, we'd love to welcome you to the Minerva sewing community. And yeah, that's everything I had to share with you today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another video filled with fabric and sewing goodness.